What's going on, Faded Culture? My name is Sergio Barron, and today we got another step-by-step tutorial for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all how I cross-graduate the sides, leave a little length in the back bottom, also leave the curtains in the front, blow dry and style and cut this whole haircut. So with that being said, let's just jump right into this tutorial. All right guys, so we're gonna start off by really saturating the hair, since when you have the hair really saturated, it's gonna facilitate how you section and how you cut with shears. So what I'm gonna do is map out my sections really quick by separating the sides from the top so that I can start doing my shear work on the sides and in the back. Right here, I'm doing a radial section, basically from the crown down to the sides of the ear, and then from the back corners to the front recession area. And all I'm gonna do is pin up this top hair so that it's out of my way and I can really solely focus on the sides. It's a good idea to have clips on your in hand just cause they're gonna come in clutch. That was crazy, I almost put off this homie's forehead right now. But anyway, let's go ahead and I like to keep the water bottle on my pocket just cause I'm continuously wetting the hair. And in the back here, I'm gonna go ahead and establish how long I want the back to sit. I'm gonna use a feather razor, and once I have determined how much I want on the how much length I want in the back, then I can start cutting or trimming the side length. I am gonna do a low taper, so for my first couple sections, I'm basically just putting my fingers all the way to the skin flat and then just cutting off length. I'm not creating no shape or anything, I'm just elevating straight out and trimming it so that it's short enough for my clipper work. Now once I get to this first part where the head starts to round on the top, that's when I'll start introducing or over direction. So every new section I'm basically pulling to the previous so that it gradually gets longer as we get further in the back. So one section I cut my length, and then 2 goes into 1, 3 goes into 2. And then once you're introduced to this section that meets the back, you'll see that I'm cutting all the way to the back. But remember, we already established our length at the bottom nape. So right here, I'm cutting according to the previous guide. And then once I reach the bottom nape, I'm basically looking for that shortest, longest piece so I don't cut any more length, if that makes sense. That way we leave the length that we wanted initially in the back, and so you're gonna have to flare out your fingers as you reach the lower nape area. So again, I'm just always combing the next section to the previous only. That way you have a guide from the previous and you have a guide at the bottom nape. And I like to use this diagonal sectioning, guys, because it makes the cutting a little easier. Because if you're vertical, you have to kind of twist your whole body. Might end up throwing your back out when you're that slanted. But yeah, it really helps, guys. And I am using our very own Faded Culture shear set. It's a 6-inch shear and thinning shears. They come together in the case at fadedculture.com. We've gotten a ton of good reviews, great quality shears. Y'all won't be disappointed, I promise y'all, or your money back. But that's one side done. Then we're gonna continue and do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Again, the first couple sections, I'm cutting them just short, so my fingers are literally touching the scalp, and I'm cutting as much as I can down so that I can fade into it a lot easier. Now once I get to the section, like I said, where the head starts to round at the parietal, about right here, this is where I'll start to kind of angle out triangular so that we can leave a little length on top. That way it's long enough to brush back, because if you cut it too short, it's just gonna stick out, and that's what we don't want. And then the next section, again, we're gonna comb it to the previous section that we just cut, and gradually it's just gonna get longer. Sometimes these sections are a little stubborn, guys, so if you gotta re-wet it and really train the hair to be as neat as possible, then do so. And don't cut unless you see your guide. If you don't see your guide, then maybe start all over from square one. That way you can find yourself if you're getting lost. But you see, as I reach the nape, I flare out to look for that shortest, longest piece that we already cut in the beginning. And then just basically cut to that, to match to that. One thing that helps me with sectioning, guys, or cut pulling out these sections is, as I groom the hair, after I wet it, make sure that you're pushing the water all the way down and pushing the hair flat out. That way you can push the moisture all the way down to the root. And as I'm sectioning, you'll notice that I'm pressing the hair flat. That way the section that I do need to cut is the only thing that pops out. So with my opposite hand, you see how I'm just pushing the hair down? Just keep it like that. There's no need really to comb it away. Sometimes when you comb it away, it'll bounce back. So I'd rather just groom it down and basically just push it down to the scalp. Getting to our last couple sections. Again, every section I'm just grooming to the previous. And then once we get to that nape or lower neck area, we flare out to basically connect to that length that we cut at the beginning. And if y'all need more guidance, guys, feel free to join our online mentorship. The link is in the bio. On there we have a bunch of tutorials, and you're able to upload your work so that we can critique it and give you better advice. And we don't only teach hair cutting, we also teach marketing, how to create videos, how to edit photos, how to edit your pictures and things like that. Financial skills and personal development, which is really important when it comes to doing anything in life, really. Now that we've cut in the sides and the back, I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming the top. First, what I'm gonna do is look for the natural part and separate that to each side. Now from here, starting from the back, I'm gonna just trim anything that is excess hanging over what we already cut. And as I get to the front, this is where we determine how long we want the curtains to be. So I kind of like the length that he had on the curtains already, so I kind of kept them that length. But once I pass the ear, basically I start flaring out to connect to that length that we initially had. Then after that, grabbing it one section at a time, starting from the back, basically just layer sideways, cutting a square line. You're looking for the shortest, longest piece on the right side, since we already cut that. And you're just trimming the top. Then once you're done with one side, then repeat the exact same steps on the opposite side. And you can see here, I can even pick up a little bit of the right section so that you can have a guide on the left and the right side. And then just cut across so that the top is square. Now, since we left the fringe long, the curtains long in the front, there should be real minimum of what you gotta cut towards once you get to the front. Now, before I do my clipper work, I like to blow dry the hair because it's easier to cut when it's dried. And then what I'm gonna do is move still some of that long length out of the way, just so that when I do my clipper work, it's a lot easier to manage. Now, starting with my 1.5 clip lever fully open, I'm gonna go ahead and start basically creating the shape of my fade. It is gonna be a low taper, so I'm gonna preserve those arches and make sure that I don't go up too high. Then with my 2 guard lever fully open, I'll continue that process, helping me flare out, trying to connect to that longer length. It's important that you don't keep the clipper flat at all times. You have to flare it out so that you can connect to the long length, because if not, you'll take off too much. And then before I set in my bald lines, I like to quickly, like a rough draft, just outline my edges just so I can have a better understanding of where I want to set in my guidelines for my fade. Then here I'm gonna go ahead and set in my first guide with the trimmer, starting right at the top of the ear. Then clipper lever fully open. I'm gonna come up about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Make sure those lines are parallel. Then I'll grab the one guard, lever still open, and come up about another 1/2 inch. You should already by this point start trying to connect to that 1.5 that you initially used. Now with the half clip lever at 3/4, I'm gonna start blending out that top guideline first, using the corners, being soft with it so that you can get it in there in a detailed fashion to really blend out these guidelines. Then after that, clipper lever closed, I'll start blending out the initial start of that line. Clipper lever opened at 3/4, continue blending a little bit higher, and then I'll open it all the way to finish blending out that line. After that, just come back in with your trimmers and then your electric shavers and get it all the way down to the skin. Just be careful that you don't create any more hard lines with your shaver, and if you do, just come back in with your trimmers to blend it out. Then to soften this transition, I'll go ahead and use my thinning shears over comb just to really soften up and get that fade to look as smooth as possible. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and use the exact same steps but fading downwards to really connect the facial hair. After that, I'm gonna come back in, really detail this arch, temple arch a little more stronger. This is where you get detailing, guys, in my opinion, is what makes you stand out. So I like to really take my time and try to make my lines and my fade look as perfect as possible. We'll go ahead and take care of the facial hair as well. Guys, in the beginning, especially if you're trying to gain clients, I encourage y'all to over deliver and try not to charge for everything, especially if you don't have that clientele established yet. Ask people if you can take care of their facial hair, especially if you're gonna take pictures, because you want the overall product to look complete. I'm gonna go ahead and line up the bottom of the neck. Be real gentle with this, and always make sure that you consult with the client first to make sure that y'all are both on the same page with how high you want the bottom line the neckline to be. Now I'm gonna apply a little bit of shave gel on all the areas that I passed through with my trimmer, just to shave it down and get it to look as clean as possible. I am using our very own shaving set. Again, y'all can find our tools and our products at fadedculture.com. Just make sure that you're always tugging with the opposite hand on the skin to get that razor to slide a lot more effortlessly. These razors are sharp, guys, so I encourage y'all to take your time, create that tension, and if you have enough shave gel on there, the hair should shave right off. Now, gently taking my time, I like to shape out the facial hair to get to be as thick as possible. So first you'll see that I shave down for the most part, and then I'll shave against the grain underhand to really get that shave to last as long or as much as possible. And it also gives it a better look. I know sometimes with facial hair that's not so full, sometimes it may look like you can't do a full beard lineup, but you'd be surprised. With the razor, sometimes it'll bring it out. And if you're still not confident using a straight razor, guys, I encourage y'all to use it without an actual razor, and practice moving around people's faces. Somebody, like, grab a friend, your mother, your father, anybody, and just build that confidence practicing moving around their skin, tugging on the skin, and just getting comfortable moving around before you actually throw a razor onto it. The last thing you want to do is cut somebody, and yeah. And I always go over my razor work maybe about 2 to 3 times just to get that lineup to look as sharp as possible. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just re-wet the hair before I apply some styling product. I am gonna use our very own matte clay, but sometimes when I want that wet look, I'll wet the hair first, and then I'll grab about a dime size, really emulsify it into my hand until you can't see it, but you can feel it. And then just run it through the hair and play with the hair until you find a desired look that you or your client are satisfied with. And you could leave it wet or you can blow dry it. It's up to you. Sometimes I'll blow dry it depending on the kind of style that I like. But in this case, I blow dried it a little bit. I kind of still wanted to give it that slick wet look, so. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it for this skin taper fade with curtains tutorial. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If y'all did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel. And let me know in the comments for any more haircut suggestions that y'all like to see on this channel. But with that being said, I'm gonna catch you on the next tutorial. Peace.